Hey everybody, how you doing? We are live once again on Mind Body Bank Account. All right, we're gonna get started in just a couple of minutes here. I'm I'm always super stoked. I'm always super pumped, and I'm always super happy when I get my guests on. This guest in particular, I think we tried about a year ago to get Mr. Michael H Ballard on the show, and had some technical difficulties, but like all good things, they can wait. So, very fortunate to have Michael Ballard on the show tonight. And he's going to be talking to you guys about something that is incredibly important for all of us in our lives, and that is how to bounce back, how to deal with adversity, and how to become stronger. Right? I mean, we can let the hurdles in life, the real tough things, kick the crap out of us and take us down, right? Or we can use those lessons to strengthen us, become forged by the fire, become tougher, and learn that we can really handle anything that life throws at us. So Mr. Ballard is on a mission in life to teach people these techniques, and he's shared his word across the globe, from Bermuda to Singapore, coast to coast, over 2,200 presentations. And I mean, he lives this stuff. Faced death more than once. I believe he's going to tell you twice. I know he has had a young daughter deal with similar health issues and coached her to handle herself in a way where I believe you're going to tell the folks, Michael, that doctors questioned what you did to your daughter because the way that she handled herself so incredibly. And I just think that the message you're going to be able to share with our folks today is going to blow their mind, help them shape their lives when they are dealing with some of the crap that we all get faced with, some far more than others, but how we handle it, how our mindset is during those difficult times can really shape our future. So, Michael Ballard, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It is great to be here. And once I figured out your phone had to be a certain way before the accept could happen so I could be on the show, I figured out all the other things for you last night. But tonight it was like, oh, yeah, it's got to be sideways before the accept button works. And then it sent me a message.
Perfect.
So, yeah, so resiliency, dealing with adversity, dealing with setbacks, dealing with life's what I call big stuff.
Yep.
And what's big stuff for me could be small for you, and what could be overwhelming for you could be small for me. So I want to clarify right up front, it's not about judging others' big stuff issues, because growing up, I had a concussion at a young age. And I had a headache that was, well, it felt like 6 miles wide, 6 miles deep. And somebody was inside my head with a big pot and a big hammer banging away. And after a few hours, I couldn't wait for the lights to be off and people to be quiet. And I got a roommate who had a concussion. Give or take a year, we were the same age, 5, 6, 7. We were all there. So what does he do, though, with a concussion and a headache? He screams and shouts and makes big noises. And I'm like, what? I want to be temporarily deaf. I remember I asked the nurse for an aspirin, and she was like, what? How often do you get those at home? I said, I've never had one before, but my uncle asks for them sometimes when he comes to visit. With hindsight, that might have been brown bottle flu. Or it could have been legit. Anyway, and that got me on the path of understanding that two people having similar conditions can have radically different approaches to coping.
Right.
And that really amazed me to no end. So that was my starting point for resiliency. And then from there, I got a chronic illness diagnosis at 17 where the doctor, with good intentions, talked about things he knew nothing about. So you got a chronic illness, and the chronic illness expert said, well, there's nothing you can do. Well, he didn't grow up with my parents and grandparents. You're allowed to visit the land of nothing you can do. You can't stay there. So over time, I got myself together, took the bus down to York University or drove the car, whatever, went to the medical library, and I came across, pardon me, research that said if you have a chronic illness, the research says if you do the following things, you can have 20% less symptoms, less intensity of symptoms, and really big for all of us, 30% plus less cost to manage your illness. Now, those are two powerful sets of numbers. And my chronic illness caused a lot of internal bleeding and a lot of bloating, a lot of discomfort. And to quote one of my high school friends who was a girl as opposed to a girlfriend, she said, Michael, you might be the only 17-year-old man I've ever met understands bloating and bleeding. True. Yeah, it was not a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, my fat pants were 4 inches bigger than my skinny pants. So I read the research, realized that a lot of what they were talking about is what I'd learned in Shaolin Kung Fu that I'd taken for 3-4 years.
Awesome.
So I did what I'd been taught by my sensei master, and geez, Western medicine meets Eastern philosophy and skills, and they merge, and I benefit. And I went 3-4 years with no symptoms within a year.
Incredible.
Much to my experts, under the microscope, you still have colitis, and you've got no symptoms. No, I felt a little flushed a couple of times, which is one of the symptoms, but I didn't have a breakout, no bleeding, no bloating. I just put it down to a stressed day. So that was really what got me around the physical mindset of it with health. And then, of course, Shaolin Kung Fu taught me that one should practice adversity, which was new to me. I've never had anybody say practice dealing with anger, practice dealing with larger than you, practice dealing with more than you. So my sensei master was so good that he attracted police coming to the practice sessions. And along the way, after 6 months, when I was still a rookie and a white belt, he had me spar, play fight. So contact, touching, no hurting, no real hitting. And I'm like, but this man's 6'4", and he's a Golden Glove boxing champion when he was 19, and he's still relatively young. He's only 31. He said, well, you've just identified a couple things. What's the third thing? He's taller, longer than me. He's got like a 38-inch inseam. I got a 32-inch inseam, if you stretch the truth. So he brought him over and he said, so Michael's concerned you've got Golden Glove boxing championship at 19. You're a contender for it in your late 20s, again in another weight category. You got longer legs and longer reach, and went down the list. So what scares you about Michael? He's faster, much faster because of his age, and he's faster, and he trash talks and distracts me. So we were not allowed to be rude, but I'd say things like, you know, if it was you and me, too bad you can't afford razors, eh?
Just getting into the head.
Just getting in your head, just that little bit. Because he said, it's about winning, staying safe. In the dojo, it's staying safe and showing ultimate respect. But it was quite remarkable because later in life, I got attacked by a motorcycle gang. Only one in the state. I was working in a gas station, and I was the only one there they bothered because I was in charge. My manager hid under his desk. Thanks, bud.
Awesome.
Nothing like a 30-year-old that doesn't show leadership when there's big stuff going on.
Right?
And I had 3 very charming, I was 19 and allegedly mature, hence the acting supervisor role. And I had 3 young ladies that were 16 and self-serve who were quite fetching, to use old words. And one of them had modified her dress. Now, as an adult father, it was like, yikes. As a 19-year-old young man, whoa, a chance for research at work. Look at the muscularity when she walks across the... Anyways, you get the picture.
Yeah.
I kept them safe by practicing my Shaolin Kung Fu thinking. I gave them things. I said, you don't need headlights for those bikes, do you? If you're taking the gas for free, you might as well have some headlights. So I opened up the stock room, and they can't hit you when their arms are full. 6 headlights,
True.
a couple tail bulbs for their Harleys, with him looking quizzical, and off he went. So one of the things about being resilient is power. There's more than one type of power. You might be smarter than me, IQ-wise, mechanically more gifted. You might have better supervisory skills than me, textbook-wise. But if my shift and your shift, we're both doing the same thing, I'm one line over, how am I going to outperform you for quality and quantity? all in fun, but all to prove points back and forth.
Yep.
And healthy competition.
Never hurt.
Never hurt. So workplace, I once was in charge of installing new stores, and a resilient mindset meant we talked about safety, talked about productivity, and talked about respect. So keep a civil tongue in your mouth and don't say anything you wouldn't say to your mother and your grandmother, although I learned over the years only twice that meant nothing because their grandmother had a foul mouth that would make any sailor blush.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I had 50 weeks where we had a perfect safety record, where we were 40 to 100% ahead of productivity, because resiliency was about, let's talk. Here's what we need to get accomplished. Here's how I want to accomplish it. If today is only drudgery, life's too short to go to work and only have drudgery.
Absolutely.
So we'd set up, it's a temporary job for 1 to 3 days. I'll do the first shift and do the washroom. I'll do the last shift of the day and clean the washroom. Here's money. I'm buying everybody tea, coffee, water, and a piece of food. No junk. Donuts are not food. And I found out later I was the only temp boss most of them had that ever fed anybody. So my food budget was blown off. I blew it out of the water. Not proud of it, but if I can take a 4-day job and do it in 2.5, a food budget doesn't mean anything.
Very true. True.
Well, I mean, it means something to somebody who's looking across the spreadsheet. How come his productivity so high, but why is his food budget? So when I told them, they were like, oh, all I got out of them was, oh. So resiliency is something that's very important and near and dear to my heart, because it's a piece of mental health.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we're coming up to that time. It's that month. It's January 30th. Yeah.
For those in Canada, it's Bell Let's Talk. And so resiliency doesn't replace seeing the doctor about schizophrenia or depression or mood disorder or personality challenges, but it's a supplement for them.
Yes.
And for those of us that had chronic illness diagnosis, I've got for my 7-year cancer battle and 5 major surgeries and treatments and emergency surgery, resiliency helps you put things in perspective. So just like when the ding-dongs on their motorcycle, and of course it takes 14 of them to rob you, you know.
Absolutely. Look at you. You're a Shaolin Kung Fu master, and I guess how do they know?
I didn't smoke back then, but part of me used to think later, I had a gas pump. I could have had a lighter. If you're taking me down, buddy, we're both going to go, and you're going to be really ugly when they pick up the ashes.
Luckily, it didn't get there.
I was that mad that because I still have nerve damage where they jam their fingers under my ribs to lift me up.
No way.
Oh, yeah. So hence do you need me lifting up the keys? Do you need any headlights or tail bulbs? Because it was like I had to make the pain go away, and I wanted them gone.
Yeah.
I had 3 young ladies I was responsible for in the self-serve. Had motorcycle gang members back then were known to not treat women with any respect or dignity at all. So, Bell Let's Talk, resiliency. The research out of Winnipeg said that people who have mental health issues that practice resiliency and stay in their therapy and take their medication, those 3 markers, can exceed all regular limitations and reach their potential in their income, career happiness. It goes on and on. So it might be annoying and tough to spend an hour in therapy once a week, once a month, depending on your issues, and have a life coach once a week, once a month for your resiliency coaching. But wow, if you can reach your income potential for your particular skill sets, IQ, EQ, social intelligence, etc., I'd say it's worth it.
Yep.
And so resiliency is about being safer, having a higher quality experience. We'll get back to my daughter in the hospital on that.
Right.
And not always, but often having a better quality outcome. So to be clear to your viewers, hello out there, being resilient didn't cause me to cure my cancer. Being resilient meant that I had an incredible quality of experience during my cancer treatments and journeys in and testing pre and post-op.
Right.
And it was annoying. Sometimes it was beyond painful and I could barely think. I call my stress issues from then, because they come back and visit every few months, woolly headedness, a little light humming. I could hear your words if you're talking to me, but they're not coming together quickly. You have to really super concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I'm alive. Little post-traumatic stress hangover, maybe 20 odd years later. I'm still here. I've seen a therapist well over close, probably getting close to 100 times. Probably could have bought a really nice car for what I paid in therapy. But my quality of life, pretty close to awesome.
Good stuff.
My beach body from 5 major surgeries and 70 odd medical clips. You know, there's not have a computer and Photoshop strong enough to take care of it and put me on the cover of Gentleman's Quarterly in a bathing suit. I don't care.
Yeah, why?
I'm me.
Yes, sir.
I've described myself when I work with youth as the old guy, high mileage, scratch and dent. So I won't judge your youthfulness as lack of experience, but new, fresh eyes. If you won't judge me as that guy that's so old, do we have an ambulance outside and paramedics just in case? Because I always tell them, the pest before date back here is a lot closer to the expiry date than yours is, unless you play in traffic.
Michael, have you ever thought about being a comedian as well? Man, I love your message, and the way you bring it, the way you share it is great, because it makes people comfortable.
Well, it's really important for me, with my family culture, to make fun of what scared me and scares me. So, for example, after my 3rd or 4th surgery, I'm at the family summertime barbecue, all the families there, my brothers, the whole bit. And Mom said, "How are you doing? It's only been like 90 days since the big one." I said, "Pretty good, but you know, Mom, is there a warranty on this old body of mine?" She cracks a smile and says, "No, dear, that was only for 12 months. It's long gone." "Mom, any spare parts? Ask your brothers." And they're both like, so they know I was being stupid. She know I was being stupid. But I get, you get weary and tired of talking about your health, and you get tired of everything hurting, aching. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I have to go to bed and sleep for 11 hours. And then, oh yeah, I'm still alive. I'm healing. This is good.
Yes.
Okay. Winning.
Yes.
And then you look at the mirror and you go, Go to the beach with a business friend one day with our kids and our partners, and he says, "Why didn't you just ask for a zipper? 5 times in, 5 times back out." I said, "Well, after the 4th time, I told him, like Cracker Jacks, I expect a prize in there." You know? I said, "I know you. Some of you are medical students, and only one of you is the full-fledged 25-year veteran, blah, blah." I said, "But at least the Rolex, mid-price. I don't want the $50,000 one, but at least the $15,000 one." And, of course, they went, "If we leave a watch behind, buddy, it's going to be unhurt." I said, "Oh, come on, you're really good. You can put it somewhere where it won't hurt at all. Just a little zip tie around my spinal cord." They just laugh. And
they're probably thinking, how is this guy in these spirits when he's going through this stuff? I mean, that's...
Well, what I learned, and to go back, and I'll have to get back to my daughter's story, but when I had my midnight emergency surgery, that was on my birthday. So I'm 32, 33 years old. It's 11:20 something outside my bedroom door. I can hear 3 doctors and a nurse. And she got a 4th doctor to come visit. And she says to the 3 that weren't talking to me, "You're not listening. Michael's never complained about anything. He's been in and out of here 5 years. He's telling it hurts like a blankety-blank son of a gun. He doesn't swear. I don't care about your training saying if it's that painful, he's supposed to..." I'm told when you have a blocked, twisted bowel, you're supposed to swear, call them names, question their parents' marital status, and basically tell them that if you were a veterinarian and a priest, you'd marry their mother and take care of their medical needs at the local vet shop. So I don't work that way. If I tell you my pain's 11 out of 10 and I've never had pain more than 9, I expect you to understand that it hurts like a son of a gun.
Right.
Get over here.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that told the doctor once when he was doing a medical procedure post-op, I said, "That hurts so much that if you do it for the 2nd time you have to do it, I'm going to hit you." And I'm making a fist remembering because it hurt like...
Yeah.
"Oh, Michael, your regular pain management isn't helping this." I said, "No, I'm 14 days into healing. I'm obviously really still sick. I'm 137 pounds, but this hurts. I'm pretty good with words." "Oh, hold that thought." Comes back, "Michael, anything you want to tell me?" "No, I'm going to let you have a little sleep while I do the next procedure. IV, muscle relaxant, and painkiller. I woke up 4 hours later, and my bed was a mess. But the procedure was done. No pain.
Yep.
I didn't care. Buzzed the nurse. They said, oh, you've finally come back too. The doctor said you were going to have a very relaxing time. So I knew in the past when I articulated pain, people listened. Anyways, this 27-year-old nurse, I believe, saved my life by advocating.
Yes.
Not giving up.
Yeah.
And the fourth doctor came in. He palpated me, meaning he went around. He got down to the spot where the blockage was coming out. It literally looked like a third of a fist was coming out of my abdomen.
Wow.
And he said to them, you didn't palpate Michael. There's a small fist growing out of his abdomen. He's a code. Now. So I get wheeled to OR. Two of the rookie doctors were crying. I don't want people crying when I'm being operated on.
Heck no.
So I said to them, it's like this. I know it's serious. I know I'm supposed to be breathing deep right now. No. I expect it's my birthday. I'm not counting back from 100 backwards. Hell no. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chat. I want you to sing me happy birthday. I won't make it to the second birthday word. Let's bring it. I went under, and 11 or 23 to 12, I was gone. Woke up 18, 19 hours later. They had to undo my final surgery. I wasn't supposed to have 4 or 5. I was supposed to have 3.
What?
And as I teased them, the third surgery, the warranty didn't work.
Wow.
So being resilient for me means I find alternative ways to describe what I'm going through because it gives me a sense of control.
Yes.
I had to go for a lot of sampling, tissue sampling, internally. There's only one way to get to your large intestine, internally.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable.
Right.
It's not fun. So you can call them what you call them, but I decided to say I was coming in for a T cubed. It's not an accurate statement, but I don't care. A tissue test.
There you go.
And so I remember my doctor saying, well, it's really not your tush. I said, I know, but it's the closest thing I got, and I got alliteration going for me, okay? So don't knock it. And I never went and got medication. I never got any muscle relaxants. I drove in, got the test, sat around after everything. I feel good. Drove home. Now, I was crampy. I was achy. I felt like I'd been in a small little rumble from high school. I used to play, it's now an incorrect word, but I loved to play murder ball. I was in the top 3% because I'd stare you in the eye and say, are you ready?
Yeah.
This isn't going to hurt me again. Getting in their head.
I was going to say,
what
yeah.
you don't have in talent and skill here, you try to make it up with here. And cute socks. Did you borrow your sister's? Bam! Oh, I was good. Oh, I loved it. Because it allowed me to let my aggression out in a safe way, because for some that have met me, they know that Michael manages his competitiveness. And I try to use my competitiveness to stay healthy and safe, so I compete against myself when I manage my diabetes and my type 2 for blood sugar.
Right.
Yesterday, I woke up with a 5.9. Hoo-ha! What will I do today to wake up tomorrow morning with a 5.85? Because over 5.5, under 6.5 is my zone.
Yep.
Do I get it perfect? No, 3 or 4 days a week, I'm not close. But I'm also living well. My eyesight's awesome. They tell me my kidney function's awesome. My liver. So I'm staying in the right zone often enough that they go, you know, people take 5 to 10 years to learn to manage it that well. I said, well, the first 6 months were scary, and then it was time to nail it.
Yep.
So to go back to my daughter and dealing with big stuff and what Shaolin Kung Fu taught me about practicing in advance.
Go easy on me here. Go easy on me, because this story, okay. I got to grab some tissues maybe, man, because you when we chatted yesterday,
Yep.
It's powerful, man.
I get teary-eyed. Well, my spouse and I were volunteering, as were our daughters. We were bringing children away from the Chernobyl reactor. So you can imagine you're so poor you can't leave the reactor zone where there's radiation. What do you do? I came across the couple. He'd been the director of education for Durham region, and his wife and him were doing it. And my spouse and I took over because he'd done it for a few years and was getting weary. because it was a full-time volunteer job,
Right.
and you're supposed to carry on. So we did it. But we managed over our 4 years to get it up to 21 kids for our Quinte region. Well, you bring these kids over. We had 2 bright lights, Elena and I forget the other young lady's name. Anyways, the Canadian kids could hustle like they could hustle because they decided that if we're going to be your guests, and you're going to feed us this well, we're going to do housework. No, enjoy your summer. No, I was honoring Uncle Mike, and I forget the Russian name. It was similar to Dodja Mike. We clean. Okay, my wife said, I'm not complaining. I have 2 9-year-olds that clean is better than the average 20-year-old. So we allowed a little bit every day. Just
a bit.
Kids. Anyways, but what happened is my daughters had 2 extra sisters. So you stay up late and you giggle. You get up early and you giggle.
Mm-hmm.
You go outside and you run, you bike, you hike, you go for swimming. And they were starting to only get by on 5 hours sleep because they're kids.
Right.
And we had a Russian, English, French, Russian Pictionary. 4,000 words and phrases with pictures. Russian index, English index. Very good. We wanted people to feel safe so that if you had to get rushed to the doctor, you didn't just say it was a tooth. You could say it's my 2nd molar and point to the actual. So we wanted to feel safe. Anyways, Things went well. But after 3 weeks, our youngest, she'd be talking to you or you'd be talking to her, and suddenly she would just. And then it was like a computer reboot. She'd be like, hi, Dad. And so somewhere after 3 or 4 of these times, her sister came to us and said, Dad, my sister, there's something wrong. Well, what happened? Well, she had a little tremor. Oh, okay. Well, we really start keeping an eye on her. Ask her to stay in the room when she's reading and make sure you ride with your bicycle helmet on always, which was the house rules, but we want to reinforce it.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, down on the floor, grand mal seizure.
That's got to be your father's worst nightmare.
Well, yeah. Luckily, your mom was there too. So, you roll her on her side in case she vomits. So you don't want her to choke on it.
Yep.
And she stops. So off to the family doctor in a hurry. They take an x-ray. Oh, she has a tumor.
Wow.
Off to the regional center. Oh, now they've done the x-ray at the local hospital because it's catchment area of 50,000. Then you go to the regional hospital that's got a CT scan. This is the 90s, right? And the CT scan, they go, oh, the tumor's not on the outside of the brain by the skull. It's on the inside, on the brain, in the brain. Oh, now the doctor there, the surgeon there, very kind, soft. Michael, I've done a couple of these every year, my whole residence. That's good. Thank you. Well, we'll consider a date and a time. Let us gather our thoughts. I come home. I believe in part of being resilient is not just what's in you. Who do you surround yourself with? Who do you bring into your team?
Yes, sir.
Not as best friends necessarily, but as resources. You for them for you. I phoned my cancer doctor, leave a voicemail, said, I'm sorry for the crackly voice. It's Michael. My daughter has, I'm told, on her temporal lobe by the reading center or in the temporal lobe, a tumor approximately this size, the size of my adult thumb down to the 3rd joint. Pretty darn big.
Yep.
I get a call less than 2 hours after they open the next morning. So by 10 in the morning, you have an appointment at Sunnybrook Medical Center on this date for an MRI because it's the fastest one we could find you. They'd already phoned 4 hospitals for me. This is why I love them. And you'll see the doctor the same day. He's going to stay after hours to see your daughter. Because if she's gone from no grand malls in June to this in August, there's something serious here.
Right.
And your family's had enough grief for 5 lifetimes just with your health. Anyways, long story short, the MRI scan proves that it's what the Kingston people say. And the guy at Sick Kid goes, Michael, 86% of the people with this tumor are young ladies between 11 and 14. Based on your family having your extra visitors, I believe you've changed your daughter's life in the positive forever. You found the tumor 2 to 6 years early because of sleep deprivation. And I think it's a great thing she's having a summer this wonderful. Thinking of my wife, who knew volunteering could help your daughter's quality of life? Because if she's in the bottom 20%, and because the tumor gets bigger, as it gets bigger, it causes more scar tissue.
Yep.
More scar tissue, older brain, less chance of the brain growing and rewiring itself so she has full capacity. Anyways, to get back to the how do you deal with things in advance. So we come home. The man at Sick Kids only operates on these tumors. That's his full-time job. He does 4 of them a week most weeks, 40 some odd weeks of the year.
Because wow.
They only came into medical, they only medically have been started to be found somewhere in the late 20s to early 30s, depending on where you are in the world. And the only correlation, according to the researchers, was heavy chemicals being shipped in the world. Really? And 88% of them are young girls.
Wow.
So that's the background. Now, how do you help a 7-year-old fight when she's going to have her image changed? She might only be at 30% capacity. She might be in diapers the rest of her life. She might be stuck at a grade 2 capacity if we're lucky. She could be in the top 10% and need a little medication. That's it. Anyways, my wife and I decided with the conversation that I would be in charge of her getting ready to be a princess warrior. So this isn't about not being sad, or it's not about being scared. It's about having an alternative way to cope.
Yep.
If you feel scared because you got a brain tumor, that's okay. If you feel angry, that's okay. If you feel sad, that's okay. Or you can go, brain tumor, I've got a big team. I got Grandma and Grandpa. I've gone to their churches. We have prayer teams. We have Mommy and Daddy. And Mommy's really got an amazing brain. And so, as Daddy joked, even if Daddy had half her brain, he'd be smarter than he is now. So with like Mommy, you're doing good. And you're already as cute, becoming cute like Mommy. So even if it leaves a scar, it's in your hair. So when you get really older, maybe you get it tattooed. Turn it into a lightning bolt. Tell people you're so smart, they had to donate some to somebody else. So we gave her some nonsense phrases. Yes. And then I phoned my friend who owned a beauty salon and said, we need a ceremony. Gently, but I want you to help say it. Because I wanted to hear it not from just Mom and Dad. And I want the other stylist to come and clap. And she started crying because it's a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyways, the doctor had put with indelible ink, said it's going to wear off after 6 weeks, but the incision, where it's going to be, and I need it shaved back. I think it was 1.5 centimeters, all sides and top, and all the way down. So it was an undercut or an undershave. Anyways, mission accomplished. She got it done. The salon lady had her all styled up with a little flip on part of her hair, and she looked absolutely 7-year-old gorgeous. And she said, so you realize this makes you a princess warrior now, because Mom and Dad tell me you're going to fight the fight with a big team. Congratulations. And the other ladies came and clapped because she was now officially a princess warrior. And her sister, God bless her, she was in on it. She had no jealousy.
Awesome.
Oh, shit, Mike. Every time I tell the story, it's wet, but that's okay.
It's okay.
People need to know they can do these things.
You're darn right,
so
man.
Then we took her home, and we said, that's today. You're going to see the doctor in 3 or 4 more weeks for the surgery. We're going to give you some preparation. So everybody's heard, or most people have heard of belly breathing.
Yes.
Do belly breathing to be calm. But what not everybody knows is belly breathing doesn't work for everybody in all circumstances. For some people, when they're actually in the middle of a panic attack, they can't do belly breathing, or it makes it worse.
Right. Okay.
You're telling me to calm down? I've cycled up.
Yeah.
So we'll post below this a PDF file of another type of breathing designed to help first responders.
Thank you. Yes.
Emergency nurses, and anybody that has panic attacks. Another way, of breathing. It's part of my Imagine Yourself program, helping people deal with and learn some skills to cope with big stuff.
Awesome.
Anyways, we taught her a couple of types of breathing, and then we said it's time to practice being in an MRI, because before the surgery, it wasn't just going to be a quick MRI like they did at the one hospital to confirm the other 2 hospitals. Mm-hmm. They were going to do a full head scan from a couple of angles, so that when they went in, they should know within a couple of millimeters where it was, how big it is, what it might weigh. and how much of the brain was affected. So we had a long farm table. My dad, God bless him, had built me to celebrate me and recovering from my cancer, because this was only 3 or 4 years after mine. We put blankets over it, put a blanket on the floor. We pulled her under. We pushed the chairs in to make it tight, closed off the ends, got a big bread bowl. Mommy got the spoon, bang, bang. Because for those that don't know, that an MRI stands for magnetic resonant imaging.
Right.
There's lots of magnets clanging. They put headphones on you, but I don't care who you are, unless you've got world-class skills. It's claustrophobic in there.
Yes, sir. And you feel it. You feel that reverberation.
Yeah.
And
the newer ones less so. But I had an MRI only 10 years ago, and I could still feel it. And that was a new machine then.
right.
So back in the 90s, they were louder. And I said, so as you hear the clang, clang, imagine Mommy dancing. You know that Daddy thinks Mommy is the best dancer, the most beautiful. So just imagine Mommy dancing. You can't move when you're having this test, but in your head you can see her dancing and smile, because, you know, when Mommy dances, Daddy smiles, other people smile, her Daddy smiles, her Mommy smiles, because your mother's a beautiful dancer. Pull her out. So what's that like? Annoying? Fine? No big deal, Dad. I said, okay. A couple more times. Pull her back in. Now I have the bread bowl. Now imagine Daddy dancing. You know, when Daddy dances, Mommy has to get by a couple of feet, because Daddy just has parts fly out. He doesn't mean to, but it is who he is. So I do that for a little while. So you can smile, but you're not supposed to move when you're in this test. So don't move and don't chuckle, but you can smile in your head. And she got that. And so we did that. Then we put her back in again after she said that was fine too, and said, so just practice your slow breathing skills. Because we have some audio programs in the Imagine Yourself program. Be a bird, be a ball, be a horse, be a cat, be a puppy. And it's all about being calm and relaxed, so that you can just lower your anxiety or get rid of your anxiety. Anyways, and I said to her, and you can ask them if you get bored, can I fall asleep? And this is where that blew their minds. First child in the history of the people doing the testing and the doctors and the surgeon to fall asleep.
Wow.
No stress at all.
That's...
My princess warrior nailed it. 10 out of 10. I give her mother for being calm through this to the best of her abilities. 10 out of 10.
Yep.
I give myself 10 out of 10. We weren't perfect.
I think so.
But we found an expert in the local and regional hospital who told us what was, and he was well trained, but he did 2 a year. The guy in Toronto, he did 100 and some odd of them by the quarter every 90 days.
Yep.
And so if you have a rare exotic vehicle, do you take it to the guy that's worked on 2 of them this year, or do you take it to the professional who is a world expert and does nothing but that every day? So
yep.
I wasn't against the man in Kingston, because in an emergency, I'm sure he'd have done well. But my daughter eventually, for the first 90 days, the first year, came out in the top 2 or 3%.
Wow.
And then over time, some of the scarring on her brain, even though they took part of her brain out, acted up. So she ended up being in the top, I think it was 21%. But she went on to graduate university, went on to get a post-degree diploma as well. And in her late 20s, got additional surgery to remove that scar tissue to have less issues, so that she didn't need, so she now can have it, now she can drive a car.
Yep.
No more epilepsy issues. So resiliency is about, where am I at? How do I define myself? I know I'm not extra calm, but I know that I have the skills and the ability to practice extra calm often. Always? Yeah, perfection's overrated. But I want a life of mastery and excellence, not perfection. Perfection gives me upset stomachs, headaches,
I like
vision.
that. Mastery and excellence, not perfection. That's gold.
So, well, you're looking at a guy who failed 2 years of high school partially because of lack of spelling skills.
And you know, I think I've seen a few times in the last week the idea that perfection is just a way to hide insecurity. We're never going to be perfect, but we can strive for greatness. We can strive for, right?
And so when I started this business, somebody said, but you don't have a PhD. And I said, well, no, but that's both limiting, because I'm going to see mental health this way.
Right.
And it's freeing because I can talk about what I learned in Shaolin Kung Fu as a part of mental health. Because to stand there in front of the great big tall Golden Glove boxing champion and be calm, knowing that if he broke the rules and only practiced boxing, I could be in trouble.
Right. Right.
He'd also have been kicked out, and he would have dealt with the dojo master who probably would have cleaned his clock. But it opened my mind to trust in another way, physical trust. Sure, I trusted my dad and my uncles and my mother and my aunties, because when you're little, they pick you up and they wrestle with you, and they dance with you. That's all family stuff. But a complete stranger, I'm going to trust a 240-pound stranger who had bigger hands and bigger knuckles? Oh, and trust myself? So I threw a roundhouse kick to one of the guys and just touched him on the ear. He stopped. He ran out of the dojo. He was over. I was more skilled. It was like, well, actually, that's the only one I ever think I did in the 4 years I was there. Let's just say fluidity of my hips and flexibility are not something that I'm known for.
I get it. I get that.
Arms, fingers, hands, real flexible.
Yep.
From the belly button up, I'm real limber.
Yep.
Somewhere below the belly button, not solid concrete, but a good 3 out of 10.
I think we're
Dancing
similar.
For me is interesting.
Yeah, we're similar. I can't even sit cross-legged. These hips just don't move. I've trained the martial arts as well, and I'll tell you, if I have to throw a kick above the knee, it's not happening.
Well, my grade 9 phys ed teacher, who taught me the power of visualization, which is another major skill, he told me that I should work harder to touch my toes because you're not flexible enough. I, in grade 9, could go in the lotus position and walk on my knees across the gym floor and back again and said, I'm very flexible that way. I'm not flexible your way. So I hear you.
Right.
I'll do my best. But back off the you're not flexible.
Right. Right.
Now I can only do half lotus, but I don't practice it anymore either. At 13, I did it 5-6 times a week, 2 or 3 times a day because it was good for you. So resiliency is in part by setting goals. So my goal is mastery of me.
Yes.
I can't change you. And your viewers might know that we did a technical check last night. So I teased you about, the handsome ruggedness and, the looking 39, Then again, at my age, I'm just happy to have hair because I got a couple of decades on you.
You're looking good, sir. You're looking good.
Well, as I like to play with words, I'm a high mileage scratch and dent kind of guy, and I'm good with it.
Yep.
I'm still here. 30 years after I wasn't supposed to be, I'm still here.
You know what? That's how you gotta step back and take it, put it all in perspective.
4 chances.
Yeah.
Who gets a 4th chance?
Cats.
First time you've got cancer. Oh, it's spread. It's in 4 locations.
Yeah.
Oh, second time, we've kept a close eye on you thanks to your cooperation, Michael, but you've got cancer, stage 2 only, in multiple sites, more than 20. We stopped counting. So you're very fortunate. This is the slow, stupid cancer. We know you like to name things, so you could call it the snail cancer. You need this operated on. Not next week, not next month, but next year. We think it's better to get it done in your 30s. You don't want to do this in your 60s.
Right.
I agree.
Yep.
Anyways, Lord knows number 2 was supposed to be the second last one. Number 3 was supposed to be the last one. Number 3 failed, and I had to go back in for warranty work.
Yep.
And then I had to get it redone again. And it's been quite a journey, but learning how to practice calmness, learning how to practice some self-mastery. I had theme music every time I went in the hospital.
Awesome.
There's theme music to lift you up. There's theme music to help you be very calm. There's theme music to help me cry because I did not want to get stuck in the, I can do this.
Yeah.
You got to let the feelings out. You got to recognize the feelings because I'm really good at pushing them down. 23 minutes to 12 when I'm singing me happy birthday. Emotions. I've made sure they've stopped crying. They're laughing. They're belting out happy birthday because I'll be darned if I'm going under with them crying.
Heck yeah.
And I did tell them, if you say anything while I'm under that's negative and I die, every time there's rain on Thursdays, you're getting a flat tire on the traffic side. It'll be me.
Yeah.
Neil looked at me like, are you kidding me? I said, no, I have no plans of dying. I got 60 more years in me, but just in the off chance, no negatives what I'm under.
Absolutely.
You can say, he's pretty ugly for a guy his age. That works.
That's okay.
But don't say, per Michael. Don't want any of that shit.
Yep. I
can
totally
say,
agree.
Huh, wonder what caused this. We'll have to investigate the warranty. Do we get the bill OHIP again, or is this non-billable hours? I said, that stuff I'm good with.
Yep.
Knock yourself out. But I did not want anything coming in here that I can't consciously filter.
Yep. Yep.
So resiliency is a choice, but you have to know it's a choice, and so many people don't know that it's a choice.
How do you feel? So people get told you have cancer, you have whatever detrimental thing maybe they may be faced with. If all of a sudden people start thinking it's over, I'm done, there's no way I'm going to get through this, oh my God, they hear the words terminal. How, when you change your mindset, share with me your thoughts on what that can do for a person. Can people literally will themselves into, can they give up? And can they will themselves to get better?
I in my first trip in, I was in Halifax, and I was scared out of my mind. I felt like I was vibrating at 8,000 free vibrations a second, and I'm walking the hall slowly. I'm practicing what I call meditative walking or mindfulness walking. Heel right down to your toe, feeling your foot move, lifting off, doing my best to be calm, centered, because boy, I'm not got the fight of my life. And the operating system's got to be at its best.
Mm-hmm.
But I was being neighborly too. So I see this guy with a sad sack face just like mine. Hey, bud, Michael, how are you? Oh, bad, man. So I'm Michael, who you are? I got liver cancer. Don't waste your time. I won't be here in 6 weeks. I'm like, wow.
Yep.
So I was always Michael who had bowel cancer. I was never bowel cancer called Michael.
That's right.
Bowel cancer was a piece of my life, a scary piece,
yep.
but a piece.
But it's not defining you.
Nope. I was still Mike that played the piano. I was Mike that was married. That should have been first, but that marriage is gone, but you do your best. I was still Mike that was in sales. I was still Mike that volunteered at the church. I was Mike that liked a bad joke. I was Mike that did the odd phone call where I pretended to be somebody else. Hey, Mike, it's Patrick O'Flaherty calling you. We haven't talked for a couple of decades, bud. How you doing? I'm in Burlington next week. Well, actually, I don't have any accent. It's Patrick O'Flaherty calling you there. He's got the accent all wrong.
That's how I answer wrong calls. When people call me and think it's someone else, I say, oh, yeah, bud, no problem. Come on over. I'm here tonight.
So I worked hard that I had the problem. I worked hard not to let the problem have me.
Yes.
Easy to say, and I call it the 3 a.m. in the morning issue. Not always, but sometimes at 3 in the morning, it had me. I have a little cry and go, okay, that's fair. It's pretty overwhelming. It's pretty scary.
Right.
But now who's in charge?
Yeah.
Me?
Yes.
Or words?
So you recognize that feeling. You
yeah.
feel the feeling,
you
but then deal with it.
I would say to the nursing center, I'm going to the men's washroom, shower room. I'm not having a shower because I'm not allowed from all the surgery. But I'm going to go in and have a little privacy and a little to a big cry. And this, on tile floor, gently and firmly, release some frustrations. Ding, ding, dong, blinkety blink. And it's like, oh, that felt better.
Yep.
There's some emotions. Okay, God, I need a lot of help. Let's do it. So one of the things about being resilient is having a team. Depending on your personality style, it can be very discreet, one person. Depending on your personality style, if you're an extroverted extrovert, it can be quite extensively large. My dad worked for a major firm back then, Fortune 50, pretty big. One of Canada's top 50 firms back in the 80s, Kodak Canada. And he was a technology expert, and he had access to, before we had internet, we had intranet.
Yes.
So they had company computers that went up to a satellite, and he could speak to all the Kodak locations in the world. My dad was on a technical solutions. He's a troubleshooter. So he was pretty angry in his early 50s that his 27-year-old boy had cancer, and he said, what do? I can't help at all except phone you and feel sad and be angry. And Dad, two things. Let's get back to basics here. I'm getting pushy. You get that intranet. I've worked there for 4 summers. Tell them I want to be on their prayer teams, regardless of where they worship. I want to report in 7 days. Where are they? What are they doing? Biggest mistake of my life. In hindsight, I didn't get that list. I would take a vacation to start to visit all those places.
Wow.
Within 7 days, I was in a gospel hall, a prayer revival hall, temples, synagogues, all over India, Pakistan, England, Australia, New Zealand, Texas. Can we get an amen for Texas on the prayer revival hall? Oh, I would love to go there. Atlanta, some church that was known for their choir. I don't know what it was. I wish I knew, but wow. Honest to gosh, Mike, I felt lifted up.
Yep.
I cut my pain meds in half. The doctors were like, no. You got a 15, 16-inch incision, and you're only 130 odd pounds. But, well, I don't need it because
I feel awesome.
well, I feel good.
Yeah, man.
I don't think that was the song they sang at the revival hall, but I felt pretty darned amazing.
Yep.
And the other thing about building a team is I sent out, well, I had a couple days before I came back for the surgery the first time because it was urgent. So I got out my phone book and I phoned 197 people from my past and my present, personal and professional, and said, hey, it's Ballard. I got news. I don't need empathy. I don't need sympathy. I want you to send me a note once a week, once a month, every 2 months to my home address about something positive in your life. So maybe it was you I'm saving on razor blades.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Or this is the new look of sexy. 39. Whatever. I remember talking to the shipping and receiving man who I didn't know well, but we did 30 projects together and he'd been the best. He made sure everything ran perfect. So I had a lot of respect. So I said to them, just tell me what's going on. Did we ship X units and 14% better than ever before with a 0 mistake rate? Or did we ship 50% as much because something broke and it took 2 days to get it fixed? Just tell me what's going on.
Right.
Anyways, within a couple of weeks, I got 400 and some odd notes.
Holy.
Coming to me saying, should we know you? Are you a media guy from another province or country? Are you hiding out? Nope. Just a guy scared out of his wits who asked friends for help. So somewhere in storage, I have a box. Pretty big box, couple of cubic feet full of notes, cards, and letters. And a couple of them were extremely meaningful. One of my mother's best friends, after a couple of weeks, I don't know what she spent, but it was big money for 1981, 82. I got a beautiful plant, crocus, but it was in a hat and gardening gloves. So, green for growth, purple for healing, hat and gloves for the garden in the spring, Michael.
Yep, make sure you're out there.
That's 4 months out from now. I'm going to be out working in the garden.
Yep.
Crap, that's a you're going to live message.
You're damn right. That's awesome.
She didn't say that. She just said green for growth, purple for healing, gloves and hat. Now the hat didn't fit because I got a big head. Probably to match the mouth. Anyways. And then I got from a man I'd never met a handwritten, long, beautiful letter written. Dear Michael, you don't know me, but my son Rodney and you have done some work together. I'm writing to tell you that I understand that you're going to have some plumbing rerouted temporarily, perhaps permanently. I did end up 2 ostomies temporarily, 2 different surgeries later in the process, but the first time through, they felt I was so sick, no ostomy. Just get rid of the cancer, heal up, and come back in for more later. So I got this beautiful 2, 3, 4 page handwritten letter, and he shared intimate details of his parents both having what I had in their early 70s, living 18, 19 years later. And he said within a year of their surgery, both of them were back to full steam. Hiking, climbing, biking. Said they were young for their age, especially back then. I mean, how many people in their 70s, in the 40s and 50s rode bicycles for fun?
Yep.
So Rodney's dad, or Rod's dad, Mel, gave me this beautiful gift of this handwritten letter full of hope, full of uplifting, that, buddy, Rod says that if anybody's got fight in them, it's you. Both my parents fought. They got 19 more years out of life each, or 18 and whatever. And you're a lot younger. So better surgery these days. I'm rooting for you. And it was just like,
yep.
Wow. So that letter just
yep.
blew my mind, because it was longhand, no typing.
That's awesome.
He wrote it all down. So I guess as we go deep into time here, holy jumping.
It's okay. It's all good stuff.
Build a team. You got to ask for help. It's not a weakness to ask for help.
Right.
Be careful what you ask for. I remember telling my dad, tell them that Michael wants healing and wisdom. Forgot to ask for pain management. Yes, I got the pain management, but not quite as much as I would have liked.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe I learned more because I had pain. Pain will always have kept me humble, because if I'd have jumped out of bed day 3, they would have thought there was something wrong with me.
Wow.
So yeah, so resiliency is inner, outer. Manage yourself, control, ask for help. If you don't know what you need, say, I need help, and I don't even know what I need.
Yeah.
One of my friends is helping out a youngster. The youngster's got herself in real deep with some people who have treated her wrong, and so it's tilted her thinking. So she posted to a few of us today, I'm looking for people that can help this situation. I know 5% of the situation, and it's outside of my expertise. So I have one expert that can help teens, youth at risk, this deep in. And so I shared the connection.
Yep.
She's got a phone number, and she can at least get some sage advice from somebody who has been in that field for 15 years and is one of the better top ones, I'm told, in all of Eastern Toronto. So build a team. You got to ask for help.
Do you think
and
that
lastly,
over time, at least for men, I'm sure it's this way for everybody, but young men always get told, and I know we chatted about this briefly yesterday, man up, grow some balls, toughen up, deal with it, all that kind of stuff. And it makes us less open to asking for help, because we feel weak if we have to ask for help. And I think that's a pile of crap.
It is a pile of crap. Asking for help is a sign of strength. Somebody I've never met posted and said, I just had this close, and he named the relative. This relative died suddenly. I'm 10 years older. They were supposed to be at my bedside when I was 89, and they were 79 saying goodbye. They only died in their 20s. I'm only 39. Holy shit. I don't know what to say or do.
Yep.
Said, so any ideas? Don't tell me to pray, just pray. I need ideas. And that's one of the things I say is prayer is important to me, but sometimes I'm mortal. I needed things to do to stay calm.
Sure.
So I'm big on affirmations. So
Yes.
the Og Mandino has a famous prayer in one of his books. It doesn't replace my faith prayers, but it's a great bridge that I can put in here and say, because it's written in 1970s, 1980s language. So it resonated with my brain real easily,
right,
and with my level of intellect in my profession. So ask for help. Say, I don't know what to do. And so this guy did that. So I wrote him and said, so I don't have any easy solutions. What you're going through is not totally different than me. But if you want to come over, no talking or talking. One of the biggest gifts I was given, somebody visited me in the hospital for 4 hours. They brought a book. They brought the guitar. You want to sleep? You want to talk? You want company? What do you want? I said, short talk, gotta sleep. I said, okay, short talk, I'll read. If you're restless, I'm going to play. They were a skilled 12-string player.
Wow, cool.
I was not sleeping comfortably because of the pain, surgery 3 or 4. He played for 3 hours. The nurses later were like, who is he? What did that cost? That was remarkable.
It's great.
That gentleman is a relative who is one of the most gifted musicians I've ever personally known. But I just said, I'm looking for company and I can't settle. Of course, I also wasn't at work. I wasn't at work. I was still on salary, but there was no bonus money coming. There was getting behind.
Sure.
When I was off for 8 weeks. I got to go back and catch up on 8 weeks of paperwork. Uh-oh.
You got to be resilient just to do that.
Yes. So it's an ongoing process. I like to read biographies and autobiographies. People inspire me.
Yes.
I don't try to do everything they did. Pick one thing. It makes it so much less stressful because I'm not
Right.
trying to be perfect.
Right.
I can't be Abraham Lincoln. Don't want to be. I went out of my way to meet, I believe, somebody that's becoming famous in the consulting industry in the last 3 weeks. We decided we're going to do some work together. And we did nothing but we talked serious, and then we laughed like little kids. Talk serious for 20 minutes, and we laughed for like little kids.
Yep.
I had the time of my life. It's like, wow, if that's what working with is going to be like, this is going to be a blast, and I think we'll make a lot of money.
Hey, what an incredible relationship. Get to work with some
Yeah.
great people,
Yeah.
have a blast,
You know,
make some money,
we're
change
both
some
over-
lives.
I'm 20 years older than them, I suspect. So I said, I don't mind working with a young kid like you. And of course, thank you, Michael. And then they said, are you just trying to charm me? I said, I'm hoping to get a raise already.
Yeah.
But we haven't made any money. I said, I'm just getting my toe in the door.
That's right.
I'm getting ready.
That's right.
Well,
That's
there's
right.
a chance that they could make me money. There's a chance I could make them money. And there's a chance we'll make money together on some projects we're doing.
Right.
So we're just sort of getting comfortable with each other. But it's fun to have fun and stay respectful.
Heck yeah.
And that part of me about being resilient is I sought this individual out because everything I've read said they are really smart. And I found out they don't talk about having an MBA and other education. But just the odd word when I listen closely for a couple hours of talking went, They're not showing off that they got more than grade 10. It just came out because it was the right word.
Right.
I love to tease that I used to work with a guy who pontificated splendiferously. He used big words to the point where his manager kept a dictionary. Tell me what it means. Here's the dictionary. And this coworker of mine with the big words, he didn't know how to tone it down, which was sad because it got in the way of his career.
Right.
He made a lot of people uncomfortable. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Yep.
But he's the one I looked up the word so I could tell him, quit pontificating splendiferously.
I'm going to look that up.
Quit using the big words so fancy. If you can't say it, as my brother, the journalist, would say, if you can't say it in a way people can understand at a grade 8 level, you're not very good.
You know what? I think he's got some truth there, right? I mean,
well, it's why
it's
the Reader's
communication.
Digest why Reader's Digest did so well for so many decades was it was an easy read, even if it was a difficult topic.
Right. Yeah.
You could focus on the emotional content and the technical content or whatever it was, and not have to worry about what's that word mean.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, resiliency is a journey. It's you can get really good at one piece of your life, and another piece of your life can slide down. You go, this I'm going to still do my best at, but I got to put more energy over here.
Right. But if we have those tools and understand how to approach the issue with a clear mind and a plan and a team, at least you can tackle anything. You're never going to get perfection out of it, but at least you can make things better.
You have the chance to look at it, look the issue in the eye, and go, "Hey, I see you. We're going to go one-on-one." So that's either a relative or you got a bad cough.
Yep. This is a doorbell. My dog going crazy, and I'm telling my son, "Go check that door." So, Michael,
good. Thank you.
Please make sure whatever you can post in comments, resources, contacts for yourself, projects that you're working on, whatever hey, I want to share your message with as many people as possible because you're doing some incredible things.
Well, let's leave your listeners, viewers, because some will hear it live and they are, and some will hear it later. Let me focus on that in getting 3-year-olds to talk mental health and behavior, we don't talk mental health and we don't talk behavior. I was challenged by grandparents parenting grandkids, some as young as 3, who had either been treated extremely poorly or had witnessed horrific events. And Michael, we keep getting told they're not young enough to do cognitive therapy with. They're not young enough to. No, but we can teach them some skills to be calm.
Right.
We can teach them some basic language. So we came up with a model that said that there's only 4 basic states. Notice I didn't say feelings or behavior. Those have judgments attached.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 states we could be in, and a combination of them is we can be loud, we can be fast, we could be quiet, or we could be slow.
Right.
And those are all wonderful unless you can't change. If you're stuck. The young boy who witnessed some terrible domestic violence, he was stuck in loud and fast.
Right. Yeah.
And after about 5 months, the school was going to kick him out. He's only an SK. You're 68 behaviorist experts. He's an SK. You're victimizing him twice.
Yes.
So his mother had paid $182.50 an hour. He'd seen some expert twice a month for months by the time she saw me. And so I taught him the 4 states. And we talked about the benefits of loud. I said, it's really awesome when we're playing baseball. Imagine you and me. You're the pitcher, I'm the batter. He said, I can't pitch. I said, oh, yeah, you're the pitcher, batter, I'm the pitcher. He said, I can't bat either. I said, we're pretending. Oh, okay. I said, so if I'm real loud and I'm the pitcher, when I was your age, I was allowed to say, hey, batter, 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 those are cute socks. Did you borrow your mother's? And I said, I'm playing with your concentration. So my loud was very effective. My team won 5 out of 7 years, first place out of a large league.
Nice job.
I was terrible at baseball, but I was good with this. I still have one person from those days doesn't talk to me. I was 6-13.
Ah, well, you know.
So he understood that loud was important sometimes, that fast was important sometimes, quiet was important sometimes, and slow was important sometimes. And if you learn some skills, you can move between them. And you should have seen him. He was in trouble in class because his teacher's male voice would set him off. He'd become loud and fast and disruptive. So we didn't took no judgment. We said loud and fast is often a gift. Could you imagine a firefighter knocking on your door if there was a fire who didn't know loud and fast? Are you in there? Do you need any help? I think it's an emergency. I smell smoke. I see flames. So I had him laughing because he knew that loud and fast is important often, just
Sure.
not always.
Yeah.
So we taught him some skills to be quiet and slow. And we talked about reading and being calm is an important place to be because then you can absorb information. And somewhere between really quiet and slow and really loud and fast was the classroom. So if loud and fast for the playground and sports is 7 to 9, 10's an emergency. And bedtime rest and reading in bed is a 2 or a 3. Maybe classroom is a 3 to a 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe a little grooving in your chair when the teacher's not talking and you're not talking and you're reading. Whatever. So we gave him some skills. 5 sessions. He used the audios we talked about earlier. Be a bird, be a horse. And he didn't know he was learning anything. He was just practicing quiet and slow in the half-hour stories. And in 5 weeks, unfortunately, his teacher had a medical emergency. And the new teacher phones the mother up after a couple of weeks and said, there's all this stuff about your son's behavior. He shows no sign of this. What's going on? So she shared him about me, but can I get an appointment with the behavior experts? No. I'm just lucky. So when we judge ourselves with our mental health or judge others, what state are they in? Loud, fast, quiet, slow? Loud and fast can be excitement. It can be major anxiety.
Right.
Quiet and slow can be calmness, genuine being in the moment, or it can be complete terror and fear.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
Very
do.
true.
So there's different ways, but we came up with just these 4 words to minimize or lose all judgment. But then there's combinations people aren't used to. There's fast and quiet. And I get kids to practice fast and quiet by what I call quiet, fast clapping. no noise. But boy, my energy level just went way up.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's slow but loud talking. And so I have little kids go, huh? Wow. Because you need to be aware of those 4 states. Because if you wake up and you feel really slow, really quiet, this little man that had been through all these terrible things, we put a picture up of a beach ball with each frame loud, fast, quiet, and slow on it. And when he woke up, his job was to point to Mummy, half asleep, that right now every morning he was quiet and slow. He went to the bathroom, wash his hands, get to the kitchen. He's more awake. He realizes that the male is not allowed in the house anymore based on a court order, based on his nasty behavior to Mother. And he'd get to the fridge, and the mother said he almost pokes a hole through the fridge door because now he's head and heart, loud and fast, loud and fast.
Wow.
Body, quiet and slow. Because I wanted him to be aware of thinking, feeling, and physical.
Yes.
And I'm proud to say that when he left the neighborhood in grade 3, I got invited for pizza and tea. Because my mom likes tea, and you like pizza. And I'm serving because I'm old enough.
Good stuff.
And by giving him a basic framework of his basic situational mental health skills, in grade 3, at the end of the year, the teacher called the mom for a meeting because she said, your son has been exceptional all year.
Awesome.
And she got him to tell me after that. Well, in the second week, the teacher said, we're having a pop quiz in a couple of days. He said, I put my hand up. And I said, my friend Michael, which is one of my greatest honors to have a child in grade 3, said I'm his best friend, Michael.
Very cool.
He said, if you practice your belly breathing, it helps your brains come out on the test.
That's awesome.
So I don't pretend to be the smartest, but I have developed a program to help 3-year-olds. Like I said yesterday, I got to work with those Auschwitz survivors.
Wow.
To learn some situational mental health to cope, because the Auschwitz survivors were losing body function. That's just sad and really frustrating. But I had them laughing because I said at 27, I had body function losses after all my surgeries, and I had things leak, drip, and I even drooled. Well, I had them laughing, and I said, and I didn't think that was going to happen until I was 97. And one of the really cute grandmas there who said, dear, it happened to me starting in my 80s when I had teeth removed. So, part of being resilient is laughing at our own condition.
Yes.
I can't laugh at your condition. That's rude. Unless you give me permission. You can't laugh at mine unless I give you permission.
Right.
Because I made a big mistake once, and it hurts to this day. I got asked to go visit a friend of a friend who'd had major spinal surgery, and he'd had 4 discs removed, and they'd rebuilt him to keep him safe. And we did really well for 90 minutes. And I said, so how will you make fun of this? I don't know. I'm still angry. Fair enough. I said, but if I have lots of intestines cut out and it's gone, and I say I'm a gutless wonder, does this make you a spineless kind of guy? Oh,
that didn't go over so well?
Not for me to say. We were gone in 10 minutes because I'd gone with my spouse.
Yep.
Didn't mean to be cruel. Wasn't trying to be cruel. I was just trying to give him an example, but it was just too big.
Right.
He wasn't ready.
Yep.
Maybe he went on to say it, but I never heard back from him. I'm not proud of what I said. I was just trying to roll with it, but I have learned to never say it again.
Hey, that's what happens, though. We live and learn, and
yeah,
you know,
sure do. So keeps me humble, but it's also exciting to be more resilient than I ever was.
Yes.
And I have been tracking down my Kung Fu master from the 70s, Lauren, and I have the phone number of a dojo in Toronto. And for some reason, I'm avoiding calling my Kung Fu master from those days. I wonder if I think he's going to invite me back to the dojo.
Call him
I'm just
up.
a little apprehensive of how I say no, because with 70-odd medical clips in me, I'm concerned to be anywhere near a place where they kick and punch.
True.
I don't want to go back to see if there's a warranty.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
No. So, Michael, thank you very much.
You know what? The pleasure is mine. I really appreciate you coming on. I I still don't believe the folks who are watching this, unless they know you personally, really truly understand what you're doing for people, the mission that you're on, the collaborations that you have coming up, and the lives that you have already changed and are going to continue to change. So, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your message for resiliency. And, you know, whoever is watching, guys, share. Sharing is caring. There's going to be links in the comments that, you know, you may know someone who's struggling. It may be yourself. Share this information and you can change someone's lives. Guys, that's it. I mean, it's all about pushing people up and getting better one step at a time, keeping this thing on the positive, and
yeah, resiliency is not about just positive mental attitude. It's a set of skills,
yes,
set of beliefs and values, and asking for help. So you're right, man up, suck it up.
Yep. Yep.
When that first doctor with my chronic illness told me there was nothing I can do, he didn't know my grandparents.
Wrong.
You can visit the land of there's nothing you can do for a day or two, but you're still there 7 days later. It's time to ask for help. It's time to go look for help. Let me leave you with one more story. Get ready.
Bring it on.
That's my foot.
Yep.
I had a gardening accident. I did what I was not supposed to do. I didn't wear the proper shoes gardening. I had some old runners because the garden was dry. I jumped on the garden spade, popped the toe joint out. It won't go back in. Family doctor says, you're right, joint's out. Chiropodist says, oh, there's nothing you can do at your age. I said, I'm in deep pain. I can barely walk for an hour some mornings. Nothing you can do. Wrong. It's a shorter cycle than when I had my chronic illness at 17. So in under 90 days, I found a pain clinic. They said, we have two potential solutions. The doctor in charge got his degree in chiropractor, and he's right now in his last semester to get his medical degree. So he said, I can arm wrestle with OHIP and insurance companies with more knowledge because I have two sets. I said, is this because sometimes you want to go? He said, yes, except professionally, I have to type that down on a page. Right. There's no words for your way. Anyways, so he said, we'll probably give you a little toe bra, which I never did get, or have an insert in my shoe. It's got a little bubble under the toe joint that's deflected down, pushes the joint into place. I have a 9 out of 10 pain, a little buzzing, a little clicking when I'm in the shoe.
Yep.
And otherwise, I'm still got full strength, full balance, almost as good as new, but even more so now than ever a scratch and dent. But I had to ask, I had to push, I had to get a fourth friggin' opinion.
Yes, sir.
Because a couple of them in the middle in their 40s, oh, the old guy, nothing you can do. It's like, I'm going to need a walker. I'm not getting a walker because I don't need one.
That's right.
Because that's how you start to lose core strength. It's slippery slope. So I fought back. It cost me money because it's not covered by health care in our province, but that's okay. You can't have everything.
Well,
but you got to ask.
My takeaway from this is,
yes,
don't be afraid to ask for help. Surround yourself with a team. I like to call it the mastermind group, whether we're talking about building business or getting yourself better. Ask for help. Surround yourself with a team. And just never count yourself out, right?
Yep. Because even if I'd have died on the OR table, I went out saying happy birthday to.
Heck yeah.
And that alone would have left my spouse and kids a message. Done nothing wrong to have a failed surgery. I'd stayed home and been a well-behaved young man. And my body went, you're tired. I'm going to get your attention a whole new way. You're going down for 6 more weeks of time off.
Awesome. Well,
anyway,
you're here, and I'm glad you are.
As are you. Thank you.
You're doing some wonderful things. So I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I believe that this will not be the last time. Michael, thank you so much. Take care. Share, everybody. Follow the comments and the links below.
Bye-bye.
Have a great night.